papa. Hey! It's an African thing. We say, hey! Sometimes when I call my mom, my birth mother, the woman that gave birth to me, she's in Germany. Sometimes when I call her and she pick up the phone, I'm like, hey, my sister, how are you doing? So my mother, not my mama, my mother, the woman that gave birth to me, her name is Adiza. I hope you guys can pronounce it Adiza, right? I call her mother when hey mom, hey ma, hi ma, you know. But sometimes when I call her, I'm like, hey sister Adiza, how are you, my sister? How are you? And she'll be, I know my mom in her head, she'll be like, what kind of child is this? You know, she didn't raise me, honestly. I'm 30 something years old. I've seen my mom twice in my life. She didn't raise me, so I know sometimes she a little crazy too. So I know she be thinking, yeah, she got it from me. You know, I'm like, hey, sister Adiza, how are you? And she go with it. She be like, I'm fine. I'm like, how are your two daughters? She be like, I'm fine. I'm like, how is work? How is your health? Is everything okay? And she be like, yeah, everything is good. And I just start laughing, and she start laughing. Yeah. Just to let you know that even though my mom didn't raise me, I love her and I respect her. It's just that the love I have for her mother, which is my grandmother, my mama, is different, you know, and she knows that. And when my grandmother was alive, I used to, sometimes I'll be wishing my grandmother was alive, man. I'll be making a lot of prank videos for her. Because when she was alive, when I was young in Ghana, I used to prank her a lot. You know, I grew up in an Islamic home, and in Islam, when we pray, you know, we cover ourselves and stuff. And sometimes after we pray, you know, my grandfather was an imam, he was a pastor, so he would lead prayers, and we would be in the back. And sometimes after prayers, my grandfather would go in there to go watch the news. You know, he was into boxing and soccer. You go watch the news. My grandmother is sitting on the mats. You know, Ghana we call it mats, like a yoga mat. Yeah, but bigger than that. So my grandmother is sitting on the mat, and I will go behind the house, go behind the backyard, go through the farm, and go through like the next three houses, and I'll start walking like an older woman, and I'm like, when I get in front of her house, I'm like, hey, I call my grandmother's name, right? I'm like, hey, and then you know it's dark, so she can't see. Then she'll go, hey. I'm like, how are you? In the dialects, not English, in the dialect. She go, I'm fine. I'm like, how are the children? And your grandchildren, they are all good. And the children, the one in Germany, they are all fine. Okay, if you talk to them, tell them I said I miss them and my greetings. And my grandmother will say, okay, I'll tell them, but who is this? And I'll get closer to her. I'm like, it's me. And that woman will look at me. Sometimes she'll take her slippers and just throw it at me like, you play too much. And then my cousins, everybody would start laughing, and usually my grandmother would laugh, and her gold teeth, she has a gold teeth right here. She would laugh when she smiled, her gold teeth is right there. Beautiful woman. Yeah, my grandmother, oh my God, that lady is so beautiful. She's dark skinned. If me and my grandmother was standing next to each other, you call me light skinned. She was really dark skinned. Yeah, but her teeth were so white, and she had that one gold teeth. When she smiled like this, oh my God, that woman. I can see her picture right now in my face. But anyway, I was gonna let me see what I was gonna talk about. Give me a second, give me a second, give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. But anyway, I know you guys maybe I don't want to hear about my grandmother, but if you want, those of you that wanted to hear it and you like the video, thank you. Enough is enough. This video is gonna be about free will, tampering with free will, tampering with somebody else's free will. I know a lot of people ain't conscious enough to really digest this, most of my messages. God created us. The universe created us. The universe gave each and every one of us free will. I want you to understand free will, like Will Smith, will, free will. I want you to understand this. If God didn't give us free will, right? Nobody will go against God. If God says, Princess Lynn, you're going to be a millionaire at the age of 40, no matter what I do, I would not become a billionaire or a millionaire until I reach the age of 40. If God didn't give us free will, right? If God didn't give us free will, What God says is going to happen will happen. But because God is a loving parent, God gave us free will. God said, hey, at the age of 40, you know, you can be a billionaire if you want to, but you can choose not to, right? God is not going to hold nobody accountable. When you pray to God, if your wife is a hoe, and you pray to God, God, please change my wife. Let my wife stop hoeing and let her be a good housewife. God is not going to listen to your free will and take that into an account and stop your wife from being a hoe. Your wife has a free will and she chooses to be a hoe. She using her free will to be a hoe. You cannot stop that. God is not gonna stop that. The wife has to stop. Your wife she has to want to stop being a hoe. Your husband is a hoe. You pray to God, oh my God, please change my husband. Let him stop being a hoe. Let him come home. That's what he wants to use his free will to do. God is not gonna come in and say, oh, I want to please your wife, so I'm gonna take your free will away from you to please your wife. God don't work like that. Now the reason why I'm making this video to let you guys know, some of you that are out there doing black magic, casting spell on people, yeah, it will work for a brief moment of time. It will work for a short period of time. But guess what? You make that spell, right? I'm using this finger as the spell. This is the spell. You've cast the spell. But guess what? There's four more spell pointing back at you. Do you know what that means? That means that when that spell bounce back, when that spell return to the sender, it's gonna come back in bucks, in buck, in bucks, in bricks. It's gonna come back million times worse than you. How do you look at a person in the eye? Look at my eyes, yo. Just look at me if you're watching this video. Look at me. If I'm your wife, I'm your girlfriend, and you know you kissing me, like let's do a little kissing here. We kissing, and I'm, baby, I love you. I'm in love with you, and you know deep down it's not coming from a genuine place because I am blinded with magic. Does that make you feel good? Knowing that Princess is madly in love with me, she will go extra mile for me, but it's not Princess real. It's not coming from Princess genuinely. I am being blinded. How do you feel as a man? How do you feel as a woman, knowing that the person that you claim you love so much doesn't love you? The love they have for you is not real. It's only temporary. How does that make you feel? That's the message for you today. When you temper with somebody's free will, when you temper with somebody's free will, get ready. Get ready. See, the reason why the elite, we call them the Illuminati, sometimes I call them fallen angels, whatever name you want to call them, God can't hold them accountable. You want to know why? Because everything they do, they tell you. Agenda 2020, they told us it's happening. We're going to be living in an AI world. You can't tell me you don't know this. They told us it's happening. Agenda 2025, the list is there. The things they are willing to take away is there. They told us. Agenda 2030, 2050, they are telling us everything. You know your air is not good. You know, it's not like you don't know. You know. So God can't even hold them accountable because they told us they're going to do this and they did it. They didn't blind us. No. We all know that according to science, when a vaccine is made, it takes at least 10 years, right? At least we know that. Or maybe 5 to 10 years. You and I know that. The other one they made, it didn't even take years. They made it and you took it. God is not going to judge them because you knew. You had a free will. You had a choice. Do you understand that? That's why everything they do, sometimes I get mad. I'm like, yo, it's in your face. They're telling you what they're about to do. When a person tempers with your free will, they don't tell you what they're going to do. If somebody do voodoo on you, if somebody do black magic on you, they don't tell you. They do it behind your back. They play with your subconscious. But here it is though. Everything that happens in your life, you agree to it. Your subconscious mind agree to it. Your subconscious mind agree to it. You just not aware of it. Your being is divided into two. It's your feminine and masculine. It's your yin and yang. It's your good and bad. It's negative and positive. It's your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. Well, let me say your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. The sub is the one ruling. The subconscious have to agree to whatever the other person is planning to do. It will agree to it for only a brief moment of time. It will agree to it because it has been blinded. Once the blindfolded is off, it will come, and it will come for revenge. And that revenge is you, the person that did that black magic, that did the voodoo. You gonna get it 10 times worse than that person. That's why most of the time when people do magic on people and the magic it wears out, they come for them, they be ready to fight them. Yeah. So be careful tampering with people's free will. One love. I love you. Give yourself a hug.